Good morning from a beautiful sunlit Guyana National Stadium at Providence in the beautiful country of Guyana. We're here to witness the final day of what has been a gripping match, fourth round encounter between the Jamaica Scorpions and the Guyana Harpy Eagles. 3 days of brilliant cricket that has put the game in a situation now where anything can happen today. You've got a situation where the Scorpions, they've done well in their second innings, went to bed last night at 176 for 1 in 43 overs with Blackwood, their captain, unbeaten on 66 with 11 fours. And Gilzine, the young man who had a very torrid time at the start of his innings, let's say for the first half hour of his innings, he was very much tested by Beaton and others. He has progressed to a well-played 81, 14 fours in that knock, a brilliant partnership for the second wicket of 166. So what is the situation today as John Ramsing is alongside me? 282 to win today, and the Harpy Eagles will need to pick up 9 wickets. So that really is the equation. Anything can happen, but at the end of the day, the game is nicely poised, nicely balanced. And as I say, good morning to John as the players make their way out in the middle. Today is going to be a really wonderful day for cricket, and someone is going to come out on the winning side. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Matthew Kisoon. Good morning to our viewers near and far, right here in Guyana, and to all of you in Jamaica. Right, today promises to be quite exciting. This game can go either way. It's in the balance, and I love the way it's set up. Matthew, I know some people may think it's exaggeration, but I had little sleep thinking about this game last night. This is how, we want cricket to be competitive. You must go into the final day knowing that either result is possible in the sense that either team can win. And of course, if Guyana Harpy Eagles do not pick up early wickets, you will see Jamaica looking to take the game. If the Harpy Eagles pick up some early wickets, you can also see a consolidation, and we will not want to be bowled out, and a draw is also possible. Everything is possible here today at Providence. The weather is perfect. We have a full day's play ahead of us.
So no problem with rain at all. That's
None
one
at all.
possibility out the door. So what are we looking at? Let's look at our options in terms of results. One, a Harpy Eagles win, I suppose, would be first on the cards. Then a Scorpions win. And then maybe likely a draw. That will come third. And then a tie. Well, you can have a tie.
Yeah, we saw that happen already right here with the Windward Islands Volcanoes a couple of seasons ago. But with 94 runs per session at an average for Jamaica Scorpions to score, 9 wickets in hand, it's neck and neck, Matthew, because a batting collapse, we have seen it already in this series. A batting collapse is possible, and with the seamers having their way, fresh overnight bowlers, Beaton and Smith, we want to think that they hold the key in this game.
Like yourself, I have been thinking overnight about this match too, and I was saying to myself, what a lovely game. This is what Test cricket, regional first-class cricket should be all about. You come down to the last day of a match, it has to have tremendous interest in it, and that's what you want. And that's what it will be today. Blackwood and Gilzine out there. Niall Smith will start. Overnight, 5 overs, 1 made, none for 30. First runs to the Jamaica Scorpions captain, the man who threatens the outcome of this game in terms of a Scorpions win. That's the man that they have to get out very early, John Ramsing, because Jermaine Blackwood is the kind of player, even if he bats a little bit slow, he's still going to accumulate a lot of runs. And he's got whole day to do that.
That scoring rate of just over 4 runs and over, they have maintained that throughout their innings, Jamaica Scorpions. So that 458-run target, once they bat out the rest of the day, they can take that easily. And Blackwood, you mentioned, he had some good rest overnight as well. Gilzine, you want to continue with this positive partnership that they have, now 167. I noticed Bonner this morning hobbling around.
Drive in off the outer portion of the bat along the ground through the vacant third man area. They come back for 2. So you can see the busyness this morning in both battles so far. Gilzine has looked very good after that shaky start. and the 27-year-old, and they've got what, about 6 players under 30 in the Jamaica side. They've got about 5 players in this 11 that are over 30. So an interesting balance and mixture of experience as well. The likes of a Derval Green and Bonner and the others who've played for Jamaica for a while. And now they'll bank on a lot of experience, especially from Blackwood and Palmer, and if Bonner can bat. And this young man as well, who's done very well, knowing that he didn't score in the first innings and was under a lot of pressure. He was on a pair when Beaton was bowling very fast and quick to him and really had him in all sorts of trouble. But he's weathered the storm nicely, and Gilzine has shown what a young cricketer who's gifted and talented can do if he gets his head in. 83 from 136. He will be very proud of that, but more proud if the Scorpions can come out with a victory today. Well, it's a long way to go, and they've got a lot of work to do, the Jamaica batting. I think Blackwood probably shook the hands of Johnson yesterday afternoon when they left the field, because he was dropped, had slipped by Johnson when he had got up to 40. It was 124 for 1 then. And then Johnson dropped him one that came to his left very quickly. He was on 55 then. He had got up to his 51st first-class half-century. And the score then was 156 to 1. I think Blackwood would have been a happy man, but it's left up to him now to continue the hard work today.
After ride his luck, that's exactly what the captain is doing, riding his luck. 2 slips going down, Johnson at first slip again. And some other scores from the other matches, Matthew. TNT Red Force and Barbados Pride locked in battle at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. Barbados 52 for 2 overnight. 118 is the victory target. They're now on to 62 without further loss. 56 runs away from another victory for the defending champions Barbados Pride.
Nothing much for Bravo in that game too. Trinidad would have depended on him a lot since he's been in form this season. It's a wide, short bumper taken by Imlak. First over on day 4 has come to an end, 179 for 1.
A very strong push for an outright win coming from behind for Jamaica Scorpions. 179 for the loss of 1 wicket. Their previous highest score, or the highest score in this year's tournament, is 234. They get in the very first knock in Antigua and Barbuda. And then the last match right here at Providence, they had 233, batting second, but batting last in that game, and end up losing that one. So now they have to score 458 to win. There's a very good position that they found themselves in, 179 for 1 overnight. Well, 179 now for 1. The Leeward Islands and the Windward Islands Volcanoes locked in battle as well, down at Brian Lara Cricket Academy. The Leeward Islands 282 for 9 declared. Windward Islands in reply 353, all out. Leeward Islands batting a second time, 101 for 5. So the last day can be interesting as well.
Sinclair will bowl from the southern end of the ground. Plays pavilion end, we call it.
So the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, they're ahead by 134 runs, 5 wickets in hand.
And looking at the score that Jamaica will have to get today, which is 282 to win, they've got 9 wickets in the bank. That'll take a lot of doing, because Guyana on day one when they batted, got up to 268 for 9. So it's obvious the Scorpions will have to do better than Guyana's first day performance for them to win this game. Turned across Blackwood. leg by, signal by umpire Stanton Crawford. Stanton Shannon Crawford, the fireman. In his 11th first-class match. We have a look at that. Replay off the pad to the left of Johnson. Bit of boot work there by Pamal. Nicely swept by Tevin Gilzian, and he's looked very comfortable to the spinners for sure. No doubt about his batting. Very comfortable to the spinners. A young man in his second first-class game for his country. He's 27 years old. He's gone up to 85 now from 140 balls. So he's done the hard work, but he needs to remain there. That's wrapped him on the pad, outlet before. Got inside his stumps and struck plumb in front. I would make that middle leg. And the Harpy Eagles have struck in the very second over of the final day of this thrilling encounter. They've picked up a prize scalp, a man who's picked up form in this innings. He's gone for 85, 140 balls, 14 fours, and has done very well. But at the end of the day, the Harpy Eagles have bounced back very nicely and very early on the final day. Good wicket for the Eagles.
It was the quicker ball from Kevin Sinclair and Gilzine way back into his crease. And that ball would have gone on to hit at least leg stump plumb. He's gone quite disappointed, I must say, with himself for playing that type of shot. Not with the decision given, because it was a very good decision from the umpire. So he's gone for 85. 182 now for the loss of 2. So the early blow from the Guyana Harpy Eagles, and I was making that point earlier, that if the Harpy Eagles pick up early wickets, the Scorpions may not necessarily want to go for the runs anymore, but may consolidate. But I still think it is possible for them to get that averaging 94 runs a session to win this game. They can look at that early, look at that again on the back foot. They can look at that as a setback, but not necessarily a blow that they cannot recover from. As former captain in this season, Paul Palmer Jr. makes his way into the middle.
He got a duck in the first innings. He's on a pair as well. Reaching out to that and driving to cover. The over comes to an end, a successful one for the right-hand off spinner from Berbice, Kevin Sinclair. He struck first blood for the Eagles, 182 for 2. So a brilliant second wicket partnership of 172 coming to an end in that last over. Quicker delivery from Kevin Sinclair, and he bowls a lot of those and tends to wrap you on the pad when you come inside his stumps between middle and leg. He's picked up a number of his wickets in that manner. But Paul Palmer Jr. would want to come good here. He's in his 49th game. Before this game, he was averaging 25.3. In the meantime, Blackwood gets another single, turning the ball towards square leg. But these two would be the key now for the Jamaica batting, because we're not sure what will happen with Bonner. And if he can bat, he would be, of course, handicapped. And you don't want that when you look at the stage of the game now, because the Scorpions, they need to bat and bat long, and they need partnerships. It is Paul Palmer Jr.'s turn to give support to Blackwood. Got his man! Catch taken low down, and Palmer appear for him in this game. Gone caught. Is it the keeper who took that catch? Caught. Tevin Imlag, the wicketkeeper. Nice catch. Moving quickly to his left, low down. And Paul Palmer Jr., his troubles continue in terms of his form, 2 deliveries, and he's gone for a ducks. He's gone for a pair, and the Harpy Eagles, cockahoo here on the final day, gone for a duck, 183 for 2, John Ramsey.
Not only his form is low, his confidence is low. You can tell the way he approached his little innings, just waiting, not necessarily trying to get in line early, just waiting on that ball and trying to offer bat. Edge found a little bit of a way movement. He was trapped on his crease, neither forward nor back. And the edge found, and what a catch to Tevin Imlak, diving away to his left. And they say catches win matches. That is a very good catch from Imlak, who's having a good match. And early wickets, we're speaking about Jamaica Scorpions, rock back now. They have to rethink their strategy. Not a lost cause as yet. Blackwood is still there. Mansing has joined him. Nkumabon is injured but can still bat because, it's an injured man. It's still very dangerous.
Mansing takes a middle stump guard. Lovely catch from Imlak. Had his troubles yesterday with gloves on. Wasn't tidy enough, but you look at that catch this morning, certainly would have made amends.
The seamers definitely playing a big part on this Providence track now. We saw Beaton getting the first wicket yesterday very early in the Scorpions' second innings. But after that, because of ordinary bowling from both himself and Smith, combined with very good batting, good defense technique shown by Gilzine and Blackwood, kept them out, so negated the threat. And now, very early morning, Smith picking up Gilzine, and now Palmer following up. Well, Sinclair got Gilzine, got the breakthrough, and now Smith now, we can see his confidence is up as well.
I think if you follow the trend of cricket, generally if you go to bed and you've batted well overnight, you come out back the next day. I think the trend has shown that most batters tend to not last very long. Maybe few would go on to get big scores having gone to bed overnight. I know one such player who you always heard never does well when was Carl Hooper. Carl Llewellyn. When he comes out the next day, probably never really got going too much in terms of his batting career. A little bit too wide, both deliveries outside the off stump to Avijay Mansing, 25-year-old in his 4th match. He's got 204 runs already. And he's got a high score of 62. Before this game, averaging 39.2 in first class cricket. So he will need to bring a little bit of that experience into play now and gain more experience.
2 half centuries in his debut match this season. Since then, just 27 is next best. But we saw that potential in him very early. And Shiv Chandapal did say he's a much better batsman than a bowler. Overcoming to an end, over which Niall Smith got a wicket of Paul Palmer Jr. Jamaica Scorpions in their second innings set a target of 458, 183 for 3.
Just a perfect start for the Eagles this morning. When you look at the spin bowlers overnight, and Sinclair would have bowled, 7 overs. Versami Pamal, 10 overs, none for 23. And Gudakesh Moti, 10 overs, none for 27. A little bit ordinary, kept it tight, but they weren't able to penetrate and pick up wickets as spinners yesterday. What we've seen, Kevin Sinclair striking first blood this morning. John Ramsing has left. Clyde Butts, who would have had a good night's rest, is here on the final day.
I wonder how you know that. Like you were there with me.
Welcome, Clyde. Good
Good
morning.
evening. Morning to you, Matthew. Morning to viewers wherever you are. Again, going down the leg side. I received so many deliveries yesterday afternoon. The ball going down that leg side, not controlling it. He's got a wicket, so should be parking this morning.
Yeah, three spinners in this side, the Eagles side, and Moti and Pamal didn't get a wicket yesterday afternoon, but Sinclair has picked up the first one this morning. Smith the second. A lot of Jamaica's batting momentum will depend on this man, Jermaine Blackwood, the captain, still there. And they know that the Eagles know that if they get Blackwood's wicket, that's about it, basically. But they've got to get his wicket. They've got to pick up 7 wickets to win this game now. So they've narrowed down that margin in terms of the wickets column. 2 this morning, very early. Over comes to an end, 183 for 3.
Two quick wickets this morning, Matthew.
Correct?
Certainly giving Guyana the edge. The Eagles soaring. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. You get one, you get two. The Jamaica batting has lacked that confidence this year. Blackwood has brought some of that. Mansing has batted very well. Patient. And prepared to bat long.
Optimistic appeal that came back into Mansing and also did a height. We'll have a look at that replay. Well bowled by Smith. Came back in. Trapped on the stumps, but then the height as well. So good decision by Nigel Dugan in his 61st first-class match. Test umpire as well. But a wonderful innings from the young man, Gilzean. 85, 14 boundaries, 141 balls, 177 minutes. And as Clyde said earlier, give the Scorpions the impetus they needed at the top there after Lug went very early for 10. Good partnership, 172 runs between Blackwood and Gilzean. Coming to an end. In the first over this morning. So the first 2 overs, wickets have gone the Eagles' way. On the leg stump, work your way down to long leg, where beaten is. So they need 275.
Tall order. Very tall order. Even with them starting this morning with 9 wickets in hand, it was a tall order. With losing 2 quick wickets, still think it's a tall, very tall order indeed. But cricket is such a game that another good partnership, you never know what can happen. Bad delivery, given the treatment it deserves. Short, wide outside the off stump, Blackwood. It's back, punching it through the covers. You'll feel good about that. And he will be telling himself that he has to bat and maybe bat all the if Jamaica is going to first look to save the game or first look to win the game, then to save the game.
Probability more in favor of an Eagles win presently. On the up. Smashed it down towards point boundary area. He gets one. He'll be looking for his what? His ninth first class 100. He's gone to 73. And he's got 51 50s. So he's been consistent in first class cricket. Jermaine Blackwood. So that'll be a good hallmark for him initially, get to that 100 and keep on batting. He's the captain. He's a man with all the weight on him now. And all he needs is Mansingh to take a little bit of pressure off of him by also performing well with the bat. Over comes to Nen, 189 for 3.
Yeah, I don't think Smith would be very happy with that over, especially in the previous over where he bowled so well, got the left-hander out. I think this over he was just a little too short. Just a little too short and wide at times as well. So I don't think he would be happy with that over, but I'm sure he's getting into his rhythm and probably will see him in the next over really hit back that spot.
Generally speaking, Clyde, have you seen a different Blackwood to what he was when he started his test career in terms of his batting ability and wanting to bat for long periods and concentrate?
It's not the first time I've seen him batting long. I've seen him right here at the stadium getting what? I think it was 90 odd. I'm batting for a very long time. Nearly saving the game for Jamaica. So I've seen him do it before, and I think he's capable of doing it.
Picked up 2 there. Have a look at that replay. Kept it down to the right of the forward short leg fielder, that's Nandu. Gets another run. The intent is clear from Kevin Sinclair, bowling on that midland leg stump to get him, to force him to play the ball in the air, not keep the ball down. And that's why he's got those men close in for that sort of shot. Mansingh comes back into strike. He's on 1 from 8. He just needs to stay there and give his captain good support. Don't give up that easy. That's the thing. Back, stabs it just to the right of slip. Anderson sends a return in, gets a run. Sinclair 1 for 20 now. 2 deliveries left to complete his 10th over. Back and pulls that out towards the backward square area. Smith comes around. Takes a single. As the over comes to an end, 194 for the loss of 3. 2 good wickets for the Eagles this morning, very early, consecutive overs. Sinclair striking first blood, removing Gilzine, who looked very, very good indeed after his shaky start. He went for 85 and Palmer went for a duck and failed in this game with a pair on this belt. Would want to forget this game, Paul Palmer Jr. Faced just 2 balls. The Eagles need 7 wickets. The Scorpions need 264 to win the game. It's obvious the equation would be more in favor of the Eagles winning this game. And obviously strengthening their position to win the title this year with another win under their belt. Barbados set to win that game against the Red Force. Set to win that game.
Keep going.
Trying to bowl much closer in this over. Smith getting the ball to nip back into the right hand. Good length that last delivery. Previous one just going down the leg side. So I think if he can get that length and line right, because he is getting the ball to cut back into the right hand. Just has to get it just on or about off stump, or maybe just 6 inches outside off stump. That's the right area. That's the right area. That was a little straighter, just on or about off some. Blackwood still playing across the line of the delivery. And probably you would be advised to look to hit straight back up the bowler. But this is good stuff from Smith. After not bowling so well yesterday afternoon, he's come back well this morning. He's kept things tight. He's bowling good areas, and he's gotten a wicket.
Overstepping now, Smith, no ball.
Just as the players were about to go up for that shout for LBW, I think it may have been going down leg side as well, though. But one of those things, you never know.
The only man to bowl no balls so far in this innings now. Smith, he's bowled 6. I think both fast bowlers for the Eagles have done well in this game. Beaten a little bit unfortunate not to have picked up Blackwood yesterday. 2 chances to the Guyana captain. It slipped. One to his right, one to his left. The one to his right was a dolly that he put down. The one to his left went a little bit quicker. So they both bowled well, both Beaton and Niall Smith have bowled well in this game. Looking for that single for Mansing to probably face the final delivery, and then Blackwood will be back on strike for the next over. Played it straight to mid-off. Well, they need another good partnership. 172 for the second wicket. Well, they will do well to get up, to get a partnership here that could, first of all, be worth over 50 and then go on from there. That'll be good from a Jamaica standpoint. Down the leg side, taken by Imlak. The over comes to an end. 195 for the loss of 3. More from Clyde, and then for the first time this morning, you'll be joined by Inderjeet.
Just a little wayward in that over. A couple of deliveries going down the leg side, a couple a little too straight, just shaping down. Then also he had a no ball. So Niall Singh just struggling a little. I thought his first over was a good one, but since then he's struggled to the right-handers. He's not been able to bowl consistently in that good area, good length, just on about the off stump, back of the length a little. He's getting the ball to off cut. So he needs to have that good line and good length. Good morning to you, sir. Inderjeet, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Clyde. I am fine. Hello to all listeners and viewers. Keen battle going on out in the middle there. And this guy, Kevin Sinclair, the man who got the first wicket today, and continues to be on a roll. He has been nagging away just about the line of the off stump and been very, very disciplined so far, Kevin Sinclair. So we are having off spin from one end, pace from the other end. And Clyde, Guyana's been able this morning to cut off the frequent boundaries in comparison to what happened yesterday. And that's good for them.
Yeah, I think that's what it called for yesterday. But the two batters were batting well. Bowled a few bad deliveries, but all in all, I don't think they were that bad. I think they were aggressive. They tried their best, and they worked hard. But having said that, you've got to give credit to where credit is due. I think the batters played very well yesterday. They were positive. They were looking to score, and maybe that would have put the bowlers off just a little.
Yes, 195 for the loss of 3, Jamaica. And, you know, the expectation today is that Veerasammy Perumal, along with Moti, who has had 20 overs between the two of them, given away 50 runs, but they haven't picked up a wicket, so that should be of some concern. You're expecting that your test bowlers coming into this 4-day match, you know, will be able to at least pick up a wicket or two between the two of them. It didn't happen yesterday. Johnson at some time will be calling on the two of them today, you know, with the hope of just being unsung and picking up a few wickets.
That tells you how well Blackwood and
Yes.
Gilzine were batting as well yesterday afternoon, because they certainly played the spin very well. They waited on them to bowl the bad delivery, and they put them away. And there were quite a few bad deliveries from the spinners, not the normal self in the bowl tight and keep the batsman on the front foot, getting the ball to turn and bounce. We didn't see a lot of that yesterday. I one only hopes that they will come this morning, that put that behind them and start again.
Yeah, a fine knock of 85 from Tevin Gilzine. And Blackwood too. That was a delivery that had Blackwood just jumping a little bit back. Came off the thick inside portion of the bat. Could have easily cannoned onto the stumps. And Clyde, when you're bowling these number of no balls with the frequency that Smith has been doing, it can affect your rhythm and you tend to lose directions too.
Well, it will, because he's lacking, has it in his mind that he needs to look at to see where that foot goes. So it's all about rhythm, and that could change his rhythm a little. I mean, if I had to advise him at this stage, I would say, look, We've got runs on the board. We want you to run in and bowl. Just forget about the new ball issues, running and bowl, and when we get into the nets next week, we'll work on that. Because if you lose your concentration and focus on the new ball, you'll find yourself not bowling as well as you could, as we see that delivery probably a little slower than Blackwood expected. He was looking to come forward and stroke it. Had good length. And he just ended up spooning it out to cover, just dropping in front of the man at cover.
Yes, that's Kevin Sinclair there. Did not see him put in the dive. Maybe he too might have been taken with a little bit of surprise. You have to be alert. These little things are of vital importance. This time he's cover driving. This is going to run away. Protection out on the boundary there. And getting off strike Blackwood. He's the guy that is leading the fight, and what a worthwhile partner he had in Tevin Gilzine. He played some fine shot and did play the spinners very well. Some messages coming in via WhatsApp. Former national scorer here, Bharat Gokul, says that he is viewing and listening the coverage. And he asked me to say hello to you once again, Clyde.
He was a scorer for a very long time. I hope he's doing all right. Just all is well with him.
And one of the neatest handwriting I've ever seen, Bharat Gokul. He asked me to ask you a question. He's testing your memory, and I'm almost certain you will never forget. He said when he's going to teachers training college, they went as a group to border to witness a match between Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. And there was a certain fellow by the name of Clyde Butts who was playing in that match. Good wicket keeping here by Tevin Imlach. And he asked me to ask you, Clyde, if you can remember the first wicket you got, and who was that person?
It's a very easy one.
I suspect.
Very, very easy. Larry Gomes caught Paidana, bowled butts. After bowling 6 long hops in the first over, where Larry Gomes failed to put away 1 to the boundary. Maiden, next over, first delivery, coming grouping forward, caught by Paidana. Brilliant catch as well.
Yes, and that will stick in your memory. Mansing looking for the single, couldn't get it there. 52 overs gone, 196 for the loss of 3.
That was a good match to remember as well, my debut match. I remember this clearly. Guyana was in a whole heap of trouble. Prince Bartholomew and Larry Gomes had Guyana on the run. Must have been 60 out for 6 or 7. Clive Lloyd had not arrived at the ground as yet. And suddenly, he arrived outside the ground in an helicopter. Ran in, same time I was going down the steps, I was dragged back into the dressing room. Water break at the same time. Clive Lloyd came charging up the steps. Got his pads on, ran out with his bat and his gloves in his hands. And every over, something else was going out. His box was going out, his tight pad was going out. And I didn't get out on the crease until the next day. Because he and Alvin Calitran both scored big hundreds. And that's it. That was it.
Yes, I'll never forget that match as well. My first journey to the border cricket ground as a schoolboy at Maikoni Secondary School. And I remember Derek Calicharan held the fort there with his brother Alvin, almost waiting for Clive Lloyd to arrive at the ground when Derek went. The rest is history. Clyde at thunderous 144 and Calicharan 183. I think in the process, one of the shots Clive Lloyd played actually split the webbing on Jumadin's finger, beaten outside the line of the off stump, beautifully bowled.
Well, I was thinking, that's the sort of area I would have loved to see Kevin Sinclair bowling the over before. And I would take that leg step and put that man at silly point to Mansing. So Blackwood, maybe he's thinking he needs the ball a little straighter because the ball is turning when he bowls it straighter. And he has that man at leg slip. But I like that line that he just bowled.
Yeah, that was a fine delivery. And so far, 1 for 22 from his 11 overs, very economical, and got the wicket that Leon Johnson was looking for earlier on. And this one left the bat in the air again. Sinclair holding the head, and you can feel the oohs and the ahs there.
Typical spinner's way.
Yes. Forward short leg has to be alert there in Nandu. Blackwood easing this one away on the front foot. Back comes Mansingh. Now Mansingh will be severely tested here by the Harpy Eagles.
I would love to see Leon Johnson now just put it instead of leg slip, having the man at silly point.
Well, let's see what he's going to do. Because Sinclair, if he's...
He can even keep the leg slip and bring a silly point in. Put some pressure on him.
Loud shout here. And umpire Shannon Crawford will have none of that. 53 overs gone. Scorpions 197 for the loss of 3.
Yeah. Pressure is being put to bear, especially on Mansingh, and rightly so. I think Leon Johnson has realized, look, Blackwood is batting well. We're going to try to get him out, yes. But we are going to put tremendous pressure on the new batsman and the young man. And hence I want to see that man at silly point as well.
Well, there's a known character in the ground, Norman, and this morning while the Jamaicans were preparing out in the middle there, he had some words for them, all in good faith. He was actually singing a Beres Hammond to Blackwood. And I saw one of the Jamaicans give him one of their T-shirts as well.
Well, Norman is a supporter. He's a character. And it's nice to have those kind of fellas in the ground. You just wish you see some of the others as well. People like Cook Up. One around.
Cook Up still around? Cook Up still around?
Yes, yes. We had so many of those guys in the past at board, and they used to sit under that Flagstaff stand, line and length and all this plot here, and all of these guys, you know.
Runs for Blackwood here. It's using the pace of the bowler nicely and getting the single. And then I think his name was Taylor. That's the correct name, the guy with the horn.
Of course.
He was such a jovial fella around the grounds in Guyana, especially at international cricket. He has since gone to the great beyond. And you remember the famous Nutman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, of course. We've had lots of people, and you go around the region, they're all there as well. They're all around the Caribbean. Some famous ones, not so famous ones, but they're there.
This is driven away. That's a fine shot out through the covers and away to where those tractors are parked. He gets the boundary, Mansingh. Fine shot.
You want to say you was thanking the rollers for making the pitch such a good one? That was pitched up outside off some. Leaned nicely into it. Cover drove it all along the carpet, 4 runs. No need to run.
You called it nicely, dear Clive. What a gracious way in saying thank you. Look at that. Everything correct. Getting the boundary. Beaten. And this time he's edging all along the ground and beating the slip down to the boundary. The 200 has come up for the Jamaica Scorpions. They're 202 for the loss of 3.
Yes, good steady bowling in the right areas. Just on or about the off stump, making the batsmen play beaten this time. You know, That's the sort of line he needs to bowl.
And beating the gully and the second slip, and it raced to the boundary for 4. Runsford beaten yesterday, 1 for 72 from 11 overs. Has been brought back by skipper Leon Johnson. That's a much better delivery, forcing Mansing to play at it. So Clydie has gone and our producer has returned. Hello, John. Good to see Scorpions 206 for the loss of 3. Harpy Eagles fighting back after being on the back foot overnight.
This is what you want in the Jeet. You don't want one team to be badly rolling over the other. You need a competitive match. And going into the final day, any result is possible. Beaten now, his first over. You can see his pace is up. He's testing this 4-day track and testing Mansing as well. Had him squared up a little bit earlier. Mansing, he realized what he has to do. Give Blackwood support, spend time at the crease.
Yes, no hurry so far. You do not want to lose another wicket within the first hour of play. They've already lost 2 so far this morning. And preservation of your wicket is very important at this stage of the game. Well, he was pushing at that one. No ball signaled by the umpire. Genuinely beaten outside the line of the off stump. If there was an edge, it would have been negated because of a no ball sent down by Beaton. Is it his first no ball? Runsford Beaton? Yes, his first so far.
Striving for some extra pace and overstepping that front crease. Smith 6 no balls already, however, and this first one from Beaton.
So 54 overs gone. Scorpions continue to bat. They're 207 for the loss of 3.
First T20 international between West Indies and South Africa is on. Game that is reduced to 11 overs aside. In the 10th over, South Africa batting first. 100 for the loss of 6. 100 for 6. David Miller is on it at 33. 2 wickets to Cottrell. 1 apiece to Akil Hussain, Alzari Joseph, Romario Shepherd, and Odin Smith. So that battle has begun. 3-match T20 series in South Africa as Sinclair continues this morning.
And you said 6 wickets gone there, John, but look at that strike rate. They're scoring at 10 runs and over with 4 wickets remaining. Good start for the Caribbean side this morning. I think Akil Hussain, first ball, got a wicket.
Good steady stuff from Kevin Sinclair. Started a bit too quick yesterday afternoon. And some balls even beat the wicket keeper as well. Now we're just holding it up just a little bit. Into the hand of the sealer under the pad there. It is, looks like number 16. Well, it looks like Savory. Kemal Savory. Nandu is actually in the outfield. And Savory, who was off the field yesterday, coming back this morning, wicketkeeper batsman. So very good reflexes. And Jeremy Blackwood, the big wicket is gone. Blackwood caught at silly bit on by Savory off the bowling of Sinclair, who picks up his second this morning. And now the Jamaica Scorpions further rock back because their captain is gone. 207 now for 4.
Yes, John, that was a great catch, a terrific catch, the reflex catch. And the trap was set. That's the reason why I think that Johnson didn't put in the silly point. He kept himself at the leg gully position and maintained the forward short leg. The line was just about the line of the off stump and was to the perfect side of Savory to his right, straight into the gloves. Brilliant catch. And what a way to go. Blackwood played well for his knockout in the middle there. While he was there was still hope for Jamaica. Now they're in some trouble as Aldin Thomas makes his way out in the middle. Well, they dropped a few yesterday afternoon. One went through the legs of Nandu in that very position. But Savory, like you mentioned, the wicket-keeper batsman in the team, he knows about wicket-keeping. Got up as late as possible, didn't rush the catch into the hands, and it stuck. And with the likes of Bonner, while it's possible that he can come out and bat, maybe because of the injury, he has not come out as yet. Whether he's going to be batting, it's another story. But some trouble here now for Jamaica.
To Blackwood, caught by Savory at City Midon off the bowling of Sinclair for 80. 161 deliveries faced, 12 fours in his knock. 4 for 207. Aldin Thomas, the wicketkeeper batsman for the Scorpions, about to face his first ball. Gets off the mark immediately. Remember, he had a first ball duck in the first inning, so was on a pair. I'm sure he'll be looking to get some runs here, heading into the final round.
And he can bat, there's no doubt about that. All he needs to do is to play smart cricket.
So I'm getting 100 last year at Diego Martin in Trinidad and Tobago. 208 for the loss of 4. Sinclair picking up his second wicket in that over.
And this is good for Sinclair, the off spinner. 2 for 24 so far. His captain called upon it. Just watch that replay. That's brilliant, brilliant catch.
Yeah, a little bit of extra bounce as well. The ball jumped on Blackwood a little bit. Because he was committed to the stroke, he got bat onto it and just turned it into the hands of Savory. Savory was under the weather yesterday, but coming back here today on the final day, making a big impact already. You know, Matthew Nandu and Kevlin Anderson, the rookies, usually under the bat there. But this time, the wicket keeper. And that was a very good move from the Harp Eagles.
And John, you can have the leg gully, you can have the forward short leg, you can have the slip, and the wicketkeeper always there. Edging and the catch taken down at second slip.
Anderson claiming it indeed. And there is Aldin Thomas just getting a single. Came off the pair that he was on, but this time around, not so lucky to the hostile bowling of Runsford Beaton. And yet again, the seamers doing lots of the damage here at Providence. Beaton gets his second wicket. Wicketkeeper Aldin Thomas caught at second slip by Anderson. And the Scorpions now 208 for 5.
Yes, it was a good catch. The edge found by Beaton. And that was the general feeling. Once you get a wicket this morning early, you tend to go through the middle. Let's look at this one. Short of a length, heading towards the off stump. Wasn't really covering the line of the ball. The edge found and the catch taken. So the Harpy Eagles now, they have gone with 50% of the Scorpions wicket. From their overnight position, they have now gone on to 208 for the loss of 5. Aldin Thomas is going to feel disappointed with the shot that he played. Should have covered the ball. He did not. And the rest now is history. Can Jamaica save this match? I think that's going to be the question. The 458 they're looking for at this stage might very well be out of the question. They must ask themselves, what should be the approach?
That was plan A, to go for the runs, maybe bat the first hour, which would have been very important on day number 4. The first hour, see off that initial threat, and then go for the runs. But now they are pegged back. Started on 176 for 1. Now 4 wickets down in a hurry this morning. And of course, we haven't seen Nkrumah Bonner as yet, still hampered by that hamstring injury. So troubling times for the Scorpions. The new batsman is Dorval Green. Gets a short ball first up. So they must be mindful that Bonner cannot bat. They've lost their captain and the other set batsman overnight. Paul Palmer Jr. didn't do anything at all again. Alden Thomas, he's dismissed as well. So the plan now is try to not lose the game because they're not going to go on to win the game. So definitely have to consolidate and play for a draw.
Yes, and I think that should be the thinking. You just don't want to be stubborn without scoring the singles as well. So you must ensure, play every ball on its merit, nothing extravagant. And
following that one, Dorval Green, he likes to play his shots. So there he was. His eyes lit up when he saw that short and wide delivery. I think he realized he was in some danger. Sort of pulled out. Getting ready for a drinks break. Third umpire, or the standby umpire in this case, Ryan Banwari, Guyanese young umpire.
Dorval Green has to be very careful here. We know that he's a very fine all-rounder, can bat. But you don't want to walk down to the fast bowler like he's doing there now.
And this time, he steers this one straight to Anderson at second slip. Short, a little bit closer to him. Unbeaten gets his third, the second in the over. And Dorval Green, for the 2 in the first innings, just 3 balls to him in the second innings, gone without scoring. The Scorpions, 208 for 6.
Yes, and I was just talking. He has to be careful how he's coming down the track to the paceman. And Beaton saw that, so the game plan was pepper him short of that good length. And with Beaton's pace on this pitch, it rose more than he expected it. He was looking to go over the top of the slip cordon, didn't manage, and another good catch. Surprised at the shot played by Dorval Green there. He can bat. You don't want to do that at this stage. Look at it. Made up his mind very early, came down the track, Beaton saw it, dropped it short and a little bit wide. He has paid the penalty.
You look at maybe just be defensive as well. So the players are taking some refreshments. We will take a break as well for some refreshments. And we will be back in about 3 minutes to continue this interesting match here at Providence. Welcome back to Providence. Jamaica Scorpions in their second innings set a target of 458 to win. 208 now for the loss of 6. All the promise at stumps last night, 1 for 176. Still 282 away. Now they're rocked back by some hostile bowling. And Kumabona is at the crease. Gets his first delivery. Inajit disappeared. He's gone for some refreshments as well. Matthew Kisoon has joined me again. It's Matthew West Indies as well, and South Africa locked in battle down in South Africa. 131 from their 11 overs. South Africa batting first. Your thoughts on that, first of all?
Yeah, no, Cotwell has been hit for, I think, 3 sixes in succession. I think Miller got for 48. Alzari came back and bowled his second over well. I think just 6 runs from that over after the first one cost him 15. But a lot of runs here from 11 overs. Left up to the West Indians now to go out there and show that they can compete well enough.
A double strike in the over from Ransford Beaton. He now has 3 for 77 from 13 overs. And the Scorpions started this morning 176 for 1. Lost both openers. Middle order pegged back as well. 208 for 6.
Blown away, 26 runs for 5 wickets so far this morning. Blown away by Beaton and Kevin Sinclair. And of course, Niall Smith picked up that wicket of Palmer as well, who got a pair. And the fact that that has transpired says it all about, well, it tells a story about what has happened to Jamaica. That was a close one there. So the leg slip area that Leon Johnson is. Let's have a look at the replay.
Ball has started on the middle and off stump. See Sinclair getting some turn now. And that's why Johnson's maintaining that leg slip on that silly mid-on position. This time Mansingh steers it through the offside. So Mansingh, his role now is not necessarily to score runs, but to bat for a long time. Runs will come. Like Nkrumah Bonner now, who's injured, will want to just block. Because if he begins to run quick singles to further damage his hamstring.
That's a tall order to bat throughout this day to save the game with more than half of your batters back in the pavilion, including your best batters. That's a tall order. But I was saying, John, it sums up Jamaica's performance with the bat this year in the tournament. Because to have lost, 5 for 27 now, you probably didn't expect that from them. Single taken, but with their batting woes, you can see Bonner there wouldn't run fast, of course, because you don't want to aggravate that hamstring more, but obviously he's improved. Some work would have been done on him, but a hamstring is always a hamstring. When you look at Kevin Sinclair's bowling, he's bowled a couple of deliveries that kept a bit low as well. And he tends to concentrate as he overcomes the net 210 for 6. He concentrates on that middle and leg stump line because once you have the trap set for the batter there, he can always pop the ball up in the air. That's one of the strengths of Sinclair's bowling. He tends to bowl that kind of line. And that's how he was able to outfox Blackwood. It was a brilliant catch by Savory. Nice reflex. And taken cleanly. And once the captain goes, he says, if he's been batting well, the floodgates are open for maybe a quick victory for the Eagles or some stubborn batting by Jamaica to deny them that victory easily. As Beaton continues.
Top edge. Forward short leg running back with the pad and helmet, just could not get there. Keeper as well, charging. We saw Smith getting a wicket early this morning after Sinclair broke the partnership. that threatened overnight. No, Brunswick beaten, getting some wickets as well. Haven't seen the left-arm spinners, Gurukesh Moti and Veerasammy Permaul, however.
Short ball into the left shoulder. They know that's a weak aspect of Bonner's batting, you know. A short delivery into the body. A bit weak there, very tentative there, very shaky there is Bonner. Down the leg side looking to flick. Not taken cleanly by Imlak, probably realizing he didn't probably play the ball. Let's have a look at the replay.
You can see the disappointment on the bowler and the captain at first slip. Something was heard. Bat was the closest thing to that ball. Bonner's there.
3 for 77 for beaten in his 14th over. He's been a bit expensive, but what's been good for him is that even though Johnson would have put down Blackwood twice to his bowling yesterday, he's come back, and today has picked up those wickets. Those 2 wickets, Thomas and Green. Got logged early yesterday afternoon for 10. Sees in the wickets column again. I guess he just has to watch the run scored off of him. Now Bonner's going to just hobble through, or what you would say, a little bit of a trot through. Beaten having a few words with him as he trotted down for that single. I think the idea is to just put up some resistance, bat as long as you can. It's going to be difficult to actually draw this game. 211 for 6 now. Forget 247. Just bat. You don't have much in the bank left, John. 6 wickets down.
Opponents for the Scorpions in the next game, Barbados Pride just completed victory over TNT Red Force. Victory by 7 wickets, with McCaskey unbeaten on 55, his second consecutive half century, the second half century of the match. So Barbados Pride beating the TNT Red Force. So the defending champions here take another victory in this year's tournament. Red Force slumping to another defeat. 7 wickets. So Barbados Pride will take on Jamaica Scorpions in their next game. That will be the end of both of those teams campaign in this year's tournament. Match to be played in Trinidad and Tobago.
Nicely bowled by Beaton. Short delivery. Handled well by Mansingh. That's the end of the over. 211 for 6. So Barbados getting valuable points there.
The compound is being shared by telecommunications company, GTT. Some of their staff is taking a look at the game while they're on their break. Right in the big party mound.
Sinclair continues. Strikes one on the pad. Picked up the 2 big fishes this morning. Gilzine and Blackwood. That's how valuable a player he is as well. He's done well with the bat this season too. Ensured that Guyana didn't lose that game to the Windwards. Batted very well for 77, unbeaten 77. Good all-round cricketer is Kevin Sinclair. Just the kind of player you need in your team, especially to play red ball cricket. He will do his work with the ball, and he can bat.
apologies for what was said earlier in terms of the next match for Scorpions. In fact, they will take on TNT Red Force at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, while the Barbados Pride will take on the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Pride and Volcanoes at Queen's Park Oval, Red Force and Scorpions at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. And of course, two remaining teams, Harpy Eagles and Hurricanes at Providence.
That Barbados Windwards game will be a very interesting game because the Windwards have played good cricket this year. That's the truth. Could have had two more victories under their belt, but they played very good cricket. Over comes to an end, 211 for 6. 12 for 6, beg your pardon.
Enough.
47 minutes away from lunch on the final day, and 5 wickets have gone down for Jamaica already. Not what they wanted, not what the doctor ordered. Pulled around the corner by Bonner for a single. But certainly what the doctor ordered for the Eagles. And they're flying high, they're soaring high, and their eyes are bulging from that height. Just need to pick up 4 wickets. So the equation, 4 wickets, 245 runs for the Scorpions. Forget the 245. It's all about the 4 wickets for the Eagles.
If you look at what's to come for the Jamaica Scorpions, Marquina Mindley, O.J. Shields, and Nicholson Gordon, doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, just the bowlers really. Only Nicholson Gordon with a career best 22 not out in the first innings, got some runs. Shields 7, Mindley no score in the first innings. So this period want to spend a lot of time together, try to deny the Guyana Harpy Eagles as much as practical.
Yeah, and the batting average leaves a lot to be desired too, but Shields with an average of what, 18.5.
Mansingh and Bonner, they can realize that runs for beaten cannot bowl forever. Sinclair, he's in the middle of a good spell, but if we can be very watchful to him, things can maybe get a bit easier.
You can expect maybe some resistance from the likes of Shields in particular, who batted well in that first innings. Mindley averages what, 9.91, Gordon 5.37. So they would want to improve in the batting department in this game. I think it was interesting, John, 213 for 6, and if their highest has been 234 so far this season, they would want to get past that and then keep on building from there.
The guys on the manual scoreboard having some fun, having some light chatter, maybe speaking about our West Indies South Africa game. Might have been 2 if Bonner was a fit Bonner at the crease. But rotation in the strike, Mansingh will have to settle on 1. Such a pity that injuries are so prevalent in cricket.
In the context of the game now, these are your 2 best batters out there. What is to come? You cannot bank on them. You got to bank on these two. And even though Bonner is handicapped, he's stubborn enough to want to stay out there. He's a test player. And he has to show that he's got the guts to stay out there. Don't do anything naughty. Just like that. Play like that. Play straight. He's an orthodox batter. Just play straight. That's the end of the over. 214 for 6. So the wind ensuring that the Jamaica flag blows away nicely in the distance. John Ramsing has left. Clyde Butts has come back in. Nice windy day. Saturday weekend. Many turned away to the right of Johnson there at Leg Gully. 3 men under the bat. Sinclair has done well. He knows what he wants. Got his fielder set there for that trap. Mansing, on the other hand, 12 from 37. He's looking to play a steady innings with Jamaica here. Can bat. Gone, leg before. Trapped in front, on the back foot, square inside the stumps. And that's the end of one of the two at the crease who you would have depended on to probably stay there for a little longer. Leg before wicket to the bowling of Sinclair, who's picked up his 3rd wicket this morning. 3 for 27 now. It's 214 for 7. Let's have a look at the replay. Plum in front. And Sinclair has done the work for the Eagles this morning. Opened the floodgates for a flurry of wickets to fallen. 6 wickets have now fallen, Clyde. This is going to be over not too long from now, 214 for 7. Morning again, Clyde.
Yes, I think the Eagles are certainly come to the fore this morning. They've bowled well. They've kept things fairly tight, not giving the batsmen any kind of free runs, ensuring that they keep plugging away on or about that off stump. Sinclair bowling a very tight line, and with the sort of feel he has to bowl that tight line, off stump line, turning into the batsman. And he's done it very well this morning. He's certainly put the pressure, put the brakes on the Scorpions, and he's got the rewards. A little disappointed, though, in the way how the Scorpions has really fallen away today. I think first-class cricket, you expect partnership, you expect good matches. And regional first-class cricket, it's our region, and we want to see good cricket at the end of the day. Yes, you say you want the Eagles to win, but you also want to see good cricket.
Looks as if they're not going to get up to their highest total so far in this year's tournament of 234 because it's 214 for 7 now. O.J. Shields, who put up some resistance in the first innings, is out there now to do battle. A 27-year-old. Second match, first class level. He's got a high score of 22. Swinging that. Bouncing just in front of Pamal on the boundary. Well, Clyde is in a no-nonsense mode. He probably doesn't want to hang around for very long.
Why would you say you don't want to hang around? Say he's in a positive mood. He's come out there, he's looking to hit the ball. That doesn't mean he wouldn't hang around. Come on. So he's not going to be defensive and just prod and plod. But I'm sure he's thinking, well, if I could look to be positive, I'll make the field change, and I could probably score some good runs. In the meantime, Bonner is struggling, so he would just look to bat for as long as he possibly can.
That's the end of the over. 215 for 7.
Fortune favors the brave. That's short. He was back looking to pull it, giving himself some room. But the top edge flew over the slip cordon 4 runs. He's obviously telling himself that, look, I'm a low order batter. I have come out here with my team in trouble. The way to change things a little is to be positive. A few hits.
A few more shots like that and a few more boundaries will certainly put them past the 234, their highest for this year so far.
That was a good short delivery, realizing the batsman was giving himself a little bit of room. And he certainly followed him. But all is well on the leg side.
I saw Beaton smiling even as he was running in to bowl that ball.
Maybe we'll see the Yorker now full and straight. Full and straight. There was just too much talking on the field. Umpire decided he has to get in. Stop the bowler from going through. That came as a surprise, actually. I guess Shields just wanted to get to the other end. And Bonner, obviously, the senior batsman in this department, decided he was going to take a chance and get that run for that single. But he really looked terrible in running. He looked like if he's really struggling at the moment.
In the end, Shields handled it well. You would want to say he handled that delivery well, that short delivery. Straight to 1, well played by Bonner. So all the hard work done at the top for Jamaica by Gilzine and the captain, Blackwood, in vain thus far, with 7 wickets down, 6 wickets fallen very cheaply this morning. Kevin Sinclair started that disastrous morning for the Scorpions, the final day. He's got 3, beaten 2, and now Smith 1 this morning. So all the bowlers basically have chipped in nicely. Just Motin Pamal without a wicket in their column. But that's no problem. The bowlers have given Leon Johnson the support that he wanted in coming out on day 4 to win this game. Well, they've narrowed that equation down to 3 wickets. That's what they need. They needed 9 overnight. They now need 3. That's the end of the over, 220 for 7.
I'm sure Jamaica will be thinking they have to do some regrouping. Whether they will stick with the type of players that we've had this year, stick with the set of players, whether there's more talent in Jamaica, and a few players, especially in terms of their batting at home, because the batting certainly didn't show up this year. What we saw in Guyana from this the second game here certainly was impressive.
Good work by Chandrapal along on the boundary. Down the track and on driving, straight back pass. The ball at his right, Sinclair. O.J. Shields. Bonner comes in to strike. If you're going to take a single and you're handicapped like Bonner is, when the return comes in, obviously it's going to go to his end. So he has to scamper in. Will put a bit more pressure on that hamstring, of course. Sizing up Sinclair for a big shot there and then had to adjust. And in the end, played it well into the onside. 3 men under the bat for Shields. There he goes. Over the mid-off. And that's gone for 6. He's gone into double figures. He's on to 13 now. He's in that aggressive mood. The adrenaline is pumping for this all-rounder. It's 228 for 7. Yes, Sinclair won't mind that at all. He's already picked up 3 for 36. So that's fine. Nothing's wrong with that. The left pad right out. Ball goes away into the offside. That's the end of the over. 228 for 7.
Sinclair probably in that over should have looked to bowl him a little slower. A little slower, a little closer. Encourage him to look to go over the top and take the pace off of it rather than give him that pace that we did see. Take the pace off, take the length back a little, and let him try. Let him go on. You know, don't be trying now and say, well, I'm going to try and keep things tight. Encourage him to look to go over the top. I think that's what you do with low order batsmen when they come out and they want to play their shots. You encourage them.
Yes, and a younger Clyde Butts would have done that on several occasions, bowling to this kind of batters out in the middle when you come down to the lower order, men who are going to swing their bat at you.
Especially when you've got that much runs to play with.
That's right, and the Harpy Eagles, they have that as a luxury for them because the Scorpions need a further 230. That's huge. They're not going to get that. And Beaton is fired up so far, 3 for 85 from his 16 overs previously. And while coming down this morning to the stadium, I was just thinking, and I think it was in 1985-86 when Patterson took those 7 for 24 and Guyana were bowled out for 41, Jamaica starting the demise in the first innings. So I was wondering to know if it's going to be a come from behind in this game here with Blackwood and Gilzine going after the Guyana Harpy Eagles team. That has now disappeared, and they're struggling to save the game. And Bonner, a brave man, hamstrung by a hamstring injury. He's still battling it out in the middle for his team. Just with those kind of injuries, Clyde, you do not want to aggravate it a whole lot.
You don't, because it can keep you out for a longer time. And Bono obviously may be thinking, well, there's just one match to go after this one. I can miss that one, have some rest, and come later. I'm sure you would be thinking he wants to go to Antigua and play in those games that the board has organized.
Yes, and that's going to be the cream of the crop playing in that tournament for the Headley Weeks Trophy. 3 matches. Maybe at some time down the line, the double rounds will come back into reckoning. That one swerved a little from outside the line of the off stump there.
Yeah, I think it was no foot movement as well from Bonner. The length was, it was full, but it was wide. And with him unable to really get that foot going, you could see just reach for it. He was reaching a long, long way. Much too wide. He should just leave that alone. Too wide to play at.
And certainly sometime down the line, our producer, John Ramsing, might be having some news. Oh, that was beaten outside the line of the off stump. Well bowled by Beaton. 228 for the loss of 7.
That's a very good area to bowl in, and with Bonner unable to move his feet as he would like. Just missed the off stump. Just missed the off stump.
Yes. So sometime down the line, John might be very well passing us some scores coming from the other 2 matches in Trinidad and Tobago. You can recall that overnight, Trinidad and Tobago.
They've already lost.
They've already lost. Well,
already lost.
before I can say John, that's the end of the match.
They've already lost. I think the Windwards-Leewards game, they had lost 3 more wickets this morning. Leewards, they were just about 166 on.
Yeah, that's interesting.
With half an hour ago. So that could turn out to be a very good game, actually.
Down the track, and Shields is smashing this one. And he get it the way he wanted it there, O.J. Shields. This is the way he's going to play, Clyde.
Yes, but again, I think when the bowler saw him coming, he bowled it quicker and flatter. And if you're going to bowl it quicker and flatter, you either need to bowl it wide outside the off stump or wide outside the leg stump. You can't bowl it quicker and flatter and straight at you. Maybe it would have been better advice to hold it in the air. Well, every one of us thinks a little differently, but just bowling it flatter and quicker, easier for him to hit.
Yes, so Sinclair has bowled well so far, but you're right, Clyde. He just hold it a little bit longer in the air, and he's not going to get the elevation that he wants to clear the ropes. This time, Bonner very easily playing on the front foot. Heard a lot of discussion about the composition of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team as far as the bowling lineup is concerned. Just one fast bowler played in that game. Phillips. Bravo opening the bowling. Had some good outswingers.
Is that good for West Indies cricket?
Not at all. It can't be good. I mean, I'm just wondering to know what the reserves they have like in Trinidad and Tobago as far as fast bowling is concerned. I know they have Gabriel. There is also Shields. Shields recovering from, not Shields, the other young fast bowler from Trinidad and Tobago. Seals. That's right, Jaden Seals. He's recovering from injury. Gabriel back on target. "65 overs gone, 229 for the loss of 7. On the other hand, Clyde, there's some good promising youngsters we're seeing from Guyana in the fast bowling department coming through. You have Shepherd. He's playing with the West Indies at the moment in that T20 match. You also got here Niall Smith and Beaton. You have Shamar Joseph there waiting for another opportunity. Did well so far when he got his opportunity.
There's no doubt there's some talent as Pomal would now take up the attack. And it's good to see that Guyana actually has improved with the fast bowling department as concerned. A few years back, we know we were struggling with that. But certainly, over the years, things have improved tremendously. Joseph, I thought led the way. And then, as you said, Kimo Paul and Shepherd came along. And now you've got Beaton has been around for a little while. Smith is there. And you've got the other youngsters as well. Joseph.
And the youngster Isaiah Thorne, who has shown a lot of promise.
Thorne. I think there's another guy that played for Guyana last year as well. His name is
Cameron.
Cameron. So there is some fast bowlers around.
Those are good signs. Primal first bowl for the day. Yesterday, none for 23.
Maybe we'll end Trinidad one of them. Why not? Trinidad and Tobago. We got some extras, you can have one.
And that's a goner. Coming down the track there, O.J. Shields, and missed it. And the keeper, Tevin Imlach, just whipped the bails off. So it's going to be 229 for the loss of 8.
Yeah, well, we know what Shields was going to do. He was going to give him the charge at some time. Lifted his head, gave him the charge, missed it completely. Easy stumping for wicketkeeper who is having a very good game with bat and behind the stumps. He took a brilliant catch this morning going to his left off of Niall Smith. Palmer.
And Imlach is having a fine match. That brilliant 100. And behind the stumps, he continues to do a fine job for his team. Clyde, what's the regulations like as far as your knowledge goes? 8 wickets gone. The umpire can demand that they play the...
Have to get 9 out.
9 out.
And you don't have to demand, it's automatic.
Automatic.
Automatic that you can play the extra half an hour.
Yeah, so we... thanks for sharing that knowledge with us. That's the reason why we have a Clyde Butts in the commentary box. When our reserves go low, we call upon him.
Just be careful with that, because sometimes the rules and regulations of this game change so often, and sometimes you have to catch up. So And we've got an umpire with us who more or less is the one who is actually umpiring, so he has the stuff.
Well, he promised to ensure that he does some checking and we can have those little pocket books that has all the rules and regulations and laws of the game. Pamal is going to be ecstatic. He has gotten a wicket here as he moves closer to 600 at the regional 4-day level. Wrapped on the pad, he's gone. Leg before Mindley. So he didn't last very long. And I'm afraid Jamaica, they have catapulted here this morning at the National Stadium.
When last has Pamal played in a match, played in an innings where he hasn't gotten wickets? So he's just come and say, well, guys, this is my turn to clean up. And he's on an hat-trick. He's on hat-trick. That was a delivery that was fairly adjacent. He just pitched, went straight on with the arm. Umpire Duguid had no hesitation in lifting that dreaded finger. And you've lost 8 wickets, is it? This morning?
Yes, 9 have gone, just 1 picked up yesterday, so they have lost 8.
Hasn't this been a pattern in this game, though? You get 1 or 2 good partnerships, and that's it. Jamaica had 1 good partnership. They had a little bit of tail-end partnership in the first innings, but nothing up front. And I think that's what has caused them the game. When you bowl a team out on the, well, not on the first day because Guyana Eagles bat on the second day, but you've got a team out for 278 in a 4-day game. You must be pretty happy with that as they're enjoying some KFC chicken.
Yes, a pretty Femi Fatale sandwich by 2 individuals. And now it's equal, so that's good equality. All 3 of them having the same kind of food in those boxes.
They probably come to enjoy, have a nice afternoon out. They're going to probably, that's why they're having their lunch now.
Exactly.
This game look like if it's going to finish early.
So, Nicholson Gordon,
Averted the
hat-trick.
hat-trick.
So Jamaica, well and truly, they have not batted to true potential this season. I'm disappointed with Palmer Jr., experienced player in the side. Mansing, reasonable start to his career. And then folded as the competition continues. Gilzine, he had a good innings in this one. 1 match prior to this. But yeah, the batting has not come on so far.
Yes,
So Premal, successful over, 229 for 9.
From what little we've seen in these 2 games, their batting certainly lacked that depth. They lacked ability to really score and score freely. And Green, apart from Green, I think, is the only one that's shown that consistency of the players that have been in the team all the time, and Blackwood has now come. And he's had a good innings. But certainly, their batting needs some input. And you look around, you wonder who is the players. Well, you don't really know the players from Jamaica at this time, but you wonder who are the players that are coming through, and trust that we will see that those players coming through next year, and even the players that are playing this year really develop and come through again.
Yes, there's young Kirk Mackenzie. They might very well be thinking, it's time we give him a little longer run. He looks the part, plays straight, tends to have a good technique as well. Edging, and he's gone. So that's the final nail in the coffin for the Scorpions, with the Guyana Harpy Eagles defeating the Scorpion by 228 runs. A huge victory for the Harpy Eagles, and Kevin Sinclair picking up the last wicket to end with 4 for 37. So with all the different thinking what might transpire, a huge victory for the Guyana Harpy Eagles. Scorpions will have to rethink as they move into the final round.
Well, the Harpy Eagles would be very happy with the way how things have gone for them this morning. They came out, looked positive, and they got their rewards. They bowled well, bowled in good areas, kept things fairly tight. The ball didn't really spin and bounce a lot, but I think they're bowling good areas, and that's what caused the pressure. The two fast bowlers in Beaton and Smith did their job as well. Both bowled pretty well. Smith got the early wicket. Beaton came on, got two. And so Jamaica batting, again, we can keep stressing on it, but they have got things to look back on and say, well, we need to work on our batting. We still got a game to go. And certainly they need to improve in terms of their batting. I don't think they fielded badly in this game. I don't think they bowled badly. Just their batting never come to the show.
Yes, you're right about that. Going back to day number 1 when the Guyana Harpy Eagles scored 278. Johnson leading the way in that first innings with a brilliant 150. The third time in his career going past that 150. Imlach making 46. And nice handshakes, good camaraderie. That is what makes this game the gentleman's game as the players exchange kind words, a little hug and a little touch. Mindley 3 for 34, Shields and Green 2 each. Scorpions in their first innings did not bat it well. 115, bundle out in 35.5 overs. Just Dorval Green getting 42.
Yeah, I don't think they've played well in terms of the batting at all. And we talk about that first innings and Johnson's 150. Big difference in the game, that partnership with him and Kevin Himlock. And that's a big difference in the game. But certainly, the Jamaica Scorpions need to work on their batting.
Niall Smith, splendid fast bowling we saw from him. 5 for 39, Premal 3 for 22. And they trailed the Guyana Harpy Eagles then by 163. Eagles in their second innings, 294 for 7 declared. Imlach, brilliant 100.
Yes, he did. He's had a wonderful game. Brilliant 100 in the second innings, 46 in the first innings. And again, he was involved in another partnership in the second innings. That fifth wicket partnership that certainly changed the game and give Guyana that edge again. It came when Guyana was in trouble. They were looking like if they were going to be bundled out quickly. But he and young Chandrapal had that lovely partnership. Chandrapal got 80, got into 90 as well. Played very well. So I think, again, in any cricket, you need partnerships. And again, Guyana produced that partnership.
You're right about that. And Mindley, best ever bowling figures in a match in the second innings, picking up 6 for 54.
Bowled well, bowling good areas, hit some good areas. Yes, he still bowled a few half volleys, but I guess he was looking for the ball to swing. But bowling good areas, and on a pitch like this, back pitching the ball was nice to see and keeping it very tight and close to the batsman. I think the other bowlers bowled well, supported well as well. Green again. I was impressed by Shields, probably his second game, first time I'm seeing him. I like what I see, and maybe he can go on and improve later on.
Yes, so set 458 for victory yesterday. Leroy Lugg went when the score was on 10, and there was a lot of bother at tea with 28 for 1. But the two men at the wicket there, Jermaine Blackwood and Gilzine, really gave high hopes to the Scorpions.
Yes, they did. and that's what you want to see. You want to see your international player, who was Blackwood, come out there yesterday afternoon. He was positive, and Gilzine got the confidence from him and started to play positive as well.
Yes, overnight 176 for the loss of 1, and looking for that 458, still 282 behind. Well, it all went downhill for them this morning when Sinclair, the off spinner, was called on. He got the first wicket, and the slide never stopped.
It never did, and there was no real partnerships as from then, and things just keep getting from bad to worse for them.
Yes, so today, Gilzine went for 85, Jermaine Blackwood 80, Palmer didn't score, Abijay Mansingh 12, and then you come down to the lower order, Aldane Thomas 1, Derval Green didn't score, Nkrumah Bunner, the last man, going for 5, O.J. Shields made 14, Mindley didn't score, Gordon was left not out on not. There were 22 extras, 10 byes, 5 leg byes, 7 no balls. 229 all out from 66.2 overs. Clydie, we look at the bowling department. Beaton bowled with a lot of pace and heart, 3 for 85. And the off-spinner Sinclair, 3 for 37.
Yeah, I thought they bowled pretty well. Kept things fairly tight. Beaton was aggressive as well in this game. Bowled with some pace. Niall Smith bowled decent this morning. Again, bowling good areas, got the breakthrough. I think that's what you need your bowlers to do. When they come out in the morning, put the pressure on the opposition, you get the rewards.
Yes, certainly. And Virasamy Pemal too came on, picking up 2 for 23, and the other wicket taker, Niall Smith, 1 for 42. So that's the story from Providence. The Guyana Harpy Eagles getting a victory against the Jamaica Scorpions by 228. Do join us next Wednesday when the Harpy Eagles will take on the Hurricanes from the Leeward Islands right here at the stadium. On behalf of the entire commentary panel, this is Inderjeet saying goodbye from Providence.